What's up, y'all? Coach Rees here, and I'm your favorite confidence coach, and this is our very first episode of Practice. For some quick background, I'm not just a confidence coach, but I'm actually a basketball coach as well. And this is where the idea for practice came from. I knew as a basketball player and a coach that in order for anybody to get better, what do you have to do? You have to practice. And as we know, confidence is a psychological mind frame or a mindset. So if you want to get better at growing a secure and firm confidence mindset, then you have to practice at it. Confidence is developed by you doing and having the right habits over and over and being consistent at it, but also embracing failure, because you understand if you have a growth mindset, which is attached to confidence, you're gonna know that even if I fail, this is helping me learn, and you don't see failure as being final, but you see failure as being a part of your learning journey. So today we're not talking about failure. Today we're talking about discipline. It's only right that we start our first practice off talking about discipline, because in order for you to stay consistent, you got to be disciplined. Now hear me out. I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to myself. So every lesson that I'm probably bringing you is going to come through something that I had to learn for myself, or I'm either going through myself. So this message is for me and you. So here's my question. Are you being disciplined, or are you being disciplined? I'm gonna say it again. Are you being disciplined, or are you being disciplined? I'm gonna be honest, discipline sucks, but we'll never become who we wanna be without it. And the thing that sucks about discipline is that it has a negative connotation to it. So more times than not, when you hear it, you think about the negative side versus thinking about the fruit that it can produce. So when I say, are you being disciplined, or are you being disciplined? I mean, do you have the ability to discipline yourself before somebody else has to discipline you? The reason why this is so important is a lot of times we end up getting disciplined by somebody else because we didn't have the strength to discipline ourselves. Or we end up being disciplined by some consequences because we failed to discipline ourselves in the first place. This is something that I would tell my players all the time is, if you hold yourself accountable and you be disciplined, then I don't have to discipline you. Parents, this is also something you can tell to your kids. If you have the ability and the self-control to hold yourself accountable and be disciplined, then I don't have to discipline you. But that also right there is the double-edged sword of discipline. There is a negative side and negative consequence that comes along with discipline. We hear it as a result of something negative and being bad. But the other side of discipline is something that helps us bear the fruit that we want to see in our lives. The definition of discipline is the training of people to obey rules or a code of behavior. Now, I don't want us to get hung up on the training of people to obey rules, but I want us to focus on the training of people for the behavior. But I want us to focus on it for ourselves. This goes back to, if I can train myself to be disciplined, this gives other people less opportunity to have to discipline me. One thing that I really need us to know is that we are creatures of habit, whether you like it or not. You have habits that you act out every single day that literally make up who you are. So because we're creatures of habit, habits are simply acts of repetition. For this very reason is why the show is called Practice, and I think practice is one of the most important things that we need in order for us to grow in our confidence and become the people that we were created to be. So the key word that I always want you to remember is reps. I'm always going to encourage you and coach you up to get reps. If there's an area in your life that you want to change, if there's a habit that you want to develop, the main thing that you need to do is you need to get in reps. So before we move any further, I need us to remember that discipline isn't just a form of punishment, but it's also an act that allows us to produce the fruit that we want to see in our lives. And without it, we won't be able to heal and become our best selves, nor live out our purpose with confidence. So what this is going to require of you is a perspective shift. Some of you may need to heal your relationship with discipline. If you hear discipline and your nervous system cringes, you hear discipline and you're like, nah, I'm good, then you got to get to the root of that. You got to get to the bottom and figure out, why do I struggle so much with the word discipline, and why do I struggle so much with being disciplined? If you're unhappy with where you're at in life, then it's probably because you lack discipline. Anybody who knows me knows that I love Deval and Kadeen, the Ellises, and it has been amazing to watch them grow on their career and where they're at. Recently, I was checking out a clip and he was speaking over the crowd, and one of the things that he said was so profound. So he was telling the crowd, in order for you to get your desires, you have to be disciplined, and your discipline has to trump your desires. And I think that he is an amazing example of being disciplined and chasing after your desires to get the life that you ultimately desire. but you'll never have your desires if you're not disciplined. And one thing to think about when it comes to discipline and desires is, do you have the discipline to deny your immediate desires for your long-term desires? There are a lot of cliche sayings and lessons out there that can help us grow in our discipline. My grandpa has one that he always says. He says, TNT, tain't nothing to it. So I asked my grandpa, like, what does that really mean? Like, what is TNT? And he looks at me and is like, tain't nothing to it. If you got something to do, you do it. Period. And I think that's what it means for us to be disciplined, is you need to be able to act in the now. It's not putting something off later. It's not allowing yourself to procrastinate. It's not allowing excuses to get into the gap. It's simply saying, I've got something to do and tain't nothing to it. But I know it's easier said than done. We could also look at one of my favorite brands, Nike, just do it, right? Their slogan is just do it. And again, easier said than done. I think we can all agree that being disciplined is easier said than done. So what do we do so we can actually do it? Because I don't believe just because you know better that you'll do better. I think that you need to know how to do better. And that's what this show is all about, is teaching you the drills and the tools to help you execute so that way you can live out your purpose with confidence. And here are 3 reasons why discipline is so important. It's life-changing. If you commit to being disciplined, even for just 12 weeks, I promise you, you will see a difference in how you move through life. Number 2, it increases confidence. Remember, confidence is built off of repetition. So if you can be committed to being disciplined and getting in the reps, you are going to see your confidence grow in whatever area it is that you're seeking to have confidence in. And 3, discipline keeps us engaged. Think about any area that you're seeking to be more disciplined in. I know for me, it's with my food and it's with finishing my dissertation. So discipline is allowing me to stay engaged every single day to see how much better I can get, to see how much further along I can get. So I've had to turn discipline almost into a game. So if you can make that mindset shift and develop a growth mindset, then you will find that discipline isn't just something that sucks, or discipline isn't just something that happens to you, but discipline is also something that can happen for you so you can produce the fruit in your life that you want to see. All right, so it's time to wrap up this practice. So here are your 3 drills that I need you to do so that way you can grow in your discipline. Number 1, get to the root. If you hear the word discipline and you feel some type of way, I need you to get to the root of why discipline messes with your nervous system, messes with your brain, or makes you just feel like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have nothing a part of it. There's some healing that has to happen with discipline. It might go back to your childhood. You might have to tap in with your inner child. You might have to go to therapy to figure that out. You might have to talk to a friend, but you got to do something. You got to get to the root of why discipline makes you feel some type of way, or why you feel like you don't have the ability to be disciplined. Number 2, this might sound kind of funny, but lower your standards. A lot of us have our standards are way too high, that you keep missing the mark because they're so high that you think they're supposed to be above and beyond, but yet you haven't even hit the lower standard yet. So if you can be disciplined with the little, I promise you'll be able to be disciplined with the big. Because what's so dope about discipline is that when you commit to growing in your discipline, you're also growing in your self-control. Now, if you're a human being that has self-control and discipline, you can't be stopped. You literally become limitless to the point that nothing is out of reach for you as far as living out your purpose with confidence, again, in the lane of your purpose. So if you commit to being disciplined, you are also growing in self-control. And when you have the ability to live out in self-control, you are now bearing a fruit that allows you to live out your purpose with confidence. Number 3, act now. Train yourself to act in the moment. If you know that there's something you have to do, train yourself to do it. There's a part in our brain that says where neurons fire together, they wire together. So again, we're creatures of habit. So if you start to create the habit of just doing things when they're supposed to be done, or actually doing things when you say you want to do them, you will now say in your brain, we do things, we follow up, we're a person of our word, we are disciplined, we are committed, we have self-control. Look at all those amazing habits and values of character that you now have. So what's dope about discipline is when you decide to grow in this one thing of discipline, you grow in self-control, you grow in accountability, you grow in being a person of your word, you grow in trust. Look at all those dope areas that focusing on one specific area can help you develop. So if you tell yourself, you train yourself in the way of, I'm going to act now, and just pick one area. Remember, keep the standard low, Pick one area. If I say I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna follow through. And now you just became a person of your word. And now you're building trust with yourself and with others. And now you're healing that relationship with discipline. And that is definitely something that you deserve and you are worthy of. All right, y'all. So that's it. Episode 1 of practice. And I came in tough, and I'm going to keep coming in as tough as I can, because as your coach, my job is to help you develop the psychological mindset that allows you to live out your purpose with confidence. And that only comes in getting in reps and being disciplined, committed, consistent, so that way you can live out your purpose with confidence. So what I need you to do is I need you to act now. I need you to talk to me in these comments. I need you to like, share, subscribe, all the above. I want to have the conversation. Why do you feel like you lack in discipline? Or if you feel like you don't lack in discipline, drop some tips in the comments so that way you can share how you're able to grow in discipline or how you got over the discipline hump. And lastly, if this is an area you feel like you need some coaching on, feel free to reach out to me in any way so that way I can help you heal your relationship with discipline and help you live out your purpose with confidence. And at the end of the day, I always want you to remember that you are worthy. I'm your favorite confidence coach, Coach Rees, and this is Practice. Peace.